Hi, welcome to In The Hive, real talk about real relationships, brought to you by Be Busy Inc. Let's dive into the honey. Question of the day. Let this thought buzz around in your mind. What kind of relationships do you see? What kind of relationships do you want? How are they similar? Here at Be Busy, when we talk about relationships, we don't mean just the romantic relationships. We mean work relationships, friend relationships, family relationships, and everything in between. As we talk about our experiences, keep in mind that all of those relationships have the same building blocks, and all of us here on the show will have different experiences. Okay, today in the Hive we have Shay and Karen. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm 24 years old. I'm a community health educator here at Be Busy. I'm passionate about sharing the knowledge that I have with other people.
Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Shay. I am a community health specialist here at Be Busy / phlebotomist, and I am glad to be here today on this set to educate younger generations and older generation about different relationships.
All right, and so my question of the day for you guys is, what kind of relationships do you see in your daily lives?
I think that I see a good mixture. I see a lot of healthy relationships, or I see a few of those. I also see quite a few toxic relationships, maybe not the healthiest. So I think I see a little bit of both. Just depends where I am.
Okay.
And yes, I have to agree. I do see healthy relationships and definitely see toxic relationships every day.
All right. So whenever you guys say toxic, what do you mean by what's an example of toxic?
Yeah, I think for me, toxic would be something negative, something that's kind of like maybe a little bit poisonous to oneself, something that is doing more harm than good.
Okay. And to me, I feel like toxic means when someone is always negative, like she said, argumentative, don't like to take criticism. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So part of the reason I'm asking you this is because we do have a lot of examples of toxic relationships, not just in our daily lives, but in social media, in regular media. And so my second question for you guys is, do you have any clear examples of healthy relationships in your lives?
I would say I do.
Yeah. I would say my parents.
Okay.
They have been married for 31 years.
Okay.
And they have shown me, regardless of what goes on in life every day, that to always choose the individual, to always make sure that you're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is the key to everything. And if it's a family relationship, a work relationship, a relationship, So, yeah.
Okay, and Karen?
I would say I do as well. I think I see a lot of good, healthy relationships in my community at church and just like people that I've met. Something that we were talking about yesterday with some friends was about how in like those healthier relationships, what they see that the common factor is that you're choosing to love that person every single day. That love isn't just an emotion or a feeling, but it's something that every single day you have to decide that you want to love that person, right? And it's like a different, almost like a sacrificial love, that we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and I think that we're all lucky to have any examples because I know my parents are divorced, their parents are divorced, my kids' grandparents are divorced, and we see a lot more of that than we do see people married for 31 years or multiple people in our life that are actually good examples.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, I really want you guys to think about what kind of relationship do you want, or relationships do you want?
I think that, well, for sure, now that we have all the things that I've learned, right, I want good, honest, and respectful relationships, right? I want a relationship romantically, where there is like that honesty, there's that respect, where there's that communication, where that person feels like my best friend in a good way, you know? I think I heard one person say that dating should be like friendship on fire, you know? So I like that. And then I think just like in my interpersonal relationships, right? Like my friends, with my family, I also want to keep that same energy of, you know, loving others the way that I want to be loved, you know? And like sharing that love that I have with those other people. So.
I think Karen hit it right on the spot for you guys because that is exactly how I feel. Just having the connection, being love, having honesty, like she said, respect, loyalty in the relationship. I feel like without any of those things, how can it even be, you know? For me, I would say, yet again, I mean, I'm very romantic. That's my love language. Okay. I want somebody to, you know, be able to give me physical touch, give me, you know, love or affirmations, be able to tell me, hey, I love you. You know, I care about you. You know, I want to do these things for you. So I just feel like, you know, communication, yet again, comes back around in, you know, in that aspect. But I have to agree with Miss Karen here.
Right. I love both of your answers so much. But as you said earlier, communication is key, right? But one thing that we do teach a lot is that it's not only the communication, but it's the willingness to understand on both ends.
Right.
Like we were saying earlier, you can be in an argument and still be like, okay, but I do want to hear you out. You can be in an argument and both of you think you're 100% right. And you can be, but you also have to have that willingness to be like, why do you think you're right? And here's why I think I'm right. And have that like, we're going back and forth and we're actually having a true open conversation. As you said.
And I feel that a lot of, I'm not going to even say, I'm going to just say people in general, they lack the ability to understand active listening when they're in any relationship. If you're talking to your parents, if you're talking to your, you know, your friends, if you're talking to your church members, if you're talking to your spouse, you know, like you have to active listening when you're having a communication. It's 3 communication styles. So, you know, just make sure that you're understanding what the person is telling you first before you respond, because some people respond in a defensive matter, you know, and sometimes that person is not trying to be, you know, attack you or, you know, criticize you or tell you that, hey, you did that wrong, you know. It's just like, hey, I'm coming from a passionate, loving place to educate you on whatever the conversation we are having, or I'm trying to let you know, hey, don't do that again. But, you know, it's just like you said, understanding.
Yeah, the one thing that my sister and I have talked about is because she's in a relationship, probably the longest relationship she's been in. They're almost 3 years. And she's like, I have to remind myself he's a good man. You know, like I have to remind myself that when we're fighting, it's worth fighting for. And so I think that's something that we forget. We want to be right so bad. We want to be, you know, we want to be in the right, but it's like, if you love that person, hear them out.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, I have a little kind of game for us. It's called societal versus personal. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a societal norm, and then you can tell me whether that aligns with what you think or if you have different values or different viewpoints. Okay? So there's one thing in society where marriage is the goal. How do you feel?
I think for sure, for me, marriage is the goal. I will not get into a relationship where the person doesn't know what they want. I feel like that's what I want, and I feel like marriage should be the goal. I think everybody can have like their own opinions on that, but for me specifically, I think that you want to be intentional in your time in a relationship, in a talking stage, and I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste their time, right? So if I know I want to get married, I'm not going to be dating somebody who doesn't really know what they want.
I'm gonna come straight into the relationship and be like, this is what I want. I'm not checking for this amount of years. Marriage is definitely the goal. It's the end game to everything. Because why am I dating you for these consecutive years and I don't want to be committed? You know, I feel like anybody, I feel like any man or woman, want to be married. If I'm dating to marry, to be married, I'm not dating to just be dating.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people now, especially in younger generations, where like they don't want to be married, but they do still want that long-term relationship. But it's just, I think that the whole idea of marriage, and since we have like a 50% divorce rate, that a lot of people have a broken image of like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
because
that
what
marriage.
they see. They see marriage people cheating on each other. So how, you know, if you saying, oh, marriage is the goal, or, you know, God, you know, you say, you know, you man and wife, you know, like how you present that to a young individual that's looking at their parents every day, arguing every day, that's not, you know, not working together as a family dynamic, or not, you know, choosing each other first, or, you know, they don't have a good example, I feel, you know, to be able to be like, oh, I want to be married one day, you know.
Yeah, because they
I
don't
love,
see,
you know,
again, they don't
you
see
know,
the
to be
happy.
excited about it, you know. Because I feel like marriage is something to be excited about.
Yeah,
It, you know, some people look at it as like, oh, it's just a word, marriage, you know, or it's just a piece of paper, you know. But it's more to that, for me, at least.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, we see a lot of the toxic, so we associate, oh, marriage might be toxic. But no, in true healthy relationships, marriage is going to work out, and it will be long term,
Right.
and you will be happy, and you will be marrying to your best friend.
Correct.
All right, second one. How do you feel about men are the head of the household?
For me, I don't have a problem with that. I feel like if you want to be the head of the household, you have to show me that you have to let me know this is what you want. You're the head of the household. Okay, cool. I'm gonna let you live up to your means.
Your title.
You know, your title. I don't have a problem. You know, a lot of people don't like to be submissive, you know. But I feel like, you know, if you're gonna be the head of the household, I need to see it. I need you to show me. Like, I'm the head of the household. I take care of whatever you need me to take care of. I cook, clean, fold your clothes, whatever. But I need the bread to come in.
How do you feel?
I think I agree. For me, I do think that the man is the head of the household, or that's the way I would like it to be, like in my household
Right.
in the future. Those are just like the beliefs that I kind of grew up
on.
with, you know, and then it's just kind of like more my spiritual beliefs as well. Like I feel like the man should kind of be leading and directing the family in the direction to go. So.
Right. And I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I was mostly raised by my dad, but there's definitely a partnership that he has with his wife right now, my stepmom. And I mean, I love it. I love their dynamic. And they have like clear communication, and both of them kind of like put in that. And I think that you have that idea too, but I mean, like being the man of the house is like something that a lot of people are, how you're saying, like, they don't take accountability for. They're like, I'm the man of the house, but like, show me.
Right.
Like your fruits have to show.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
And, you know, going back on what you said, it's nothing wrong with 50-50 in a marriage or in a relationship in general. And then, because I feel like this, sometimes it's not going to be 50-50. Sometimes it's going to be 75-25. Sometimes it's going to be 60-40. Where I'm lacking, he pick up. Where he lacking, I pick up. That's a marriage. That's a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, you know. And I feel like, for me, that's what I want in my household. If you going, you know, if the man is going to be the head of the household, that's fine, you know. But if that man, sometimes that man need help as well. So sometimes a woman has to be the head of the household as well. So it's just like you said, like your dad, and communication, like understanding, talking things out. At the end of the day, I feel like, you know, I always end up to being a healthy relationship. Everybody's not perfect.
True. Okay, so the next norm, have you guys ever heard of women are more emotional?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I'm one of those women.
You're like, that's about me.
I mean, and it's okay. I feel like it's okay for women to be emotional. That's how we express our feelings. That's how we get our point across, I feel. I feel like a lot of people take it and run with it and think they can abuse it. And that's what I don't like. You don't take my sensitivity or my emotions and abuse it, because then it's not going to end well for whomever it may be. But yeah, I do. And what about you?
I think that women are emotional. Not every woman is emotional. I think that men are emotional too. I do think that. I think that maybe they don't express it the same way that we do, you know, or I think that sometimes they're taught to kind of hold that in. But I think that we're all humans and we all carry similar emotions, right? I think it's just how we express them. So I think that we're both emotional human beings. We go through things, we feel our emotions, but we express them differently.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that because of society, a lot of men are scared to show their emotions, but I think in a healthy relationship, there's a space to be vulnerable.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and maybe they're not like out crying in the club, but if you're at home and you're speaking to me, I want you to tell your true emotions.
Right.
Exactly. You know, I want you to be
This
like,
is your safe space.
yeah,
You're supposed to, when you're at home, this is your safe haven. This is where you're supposed to let your emotions, you know, fly. Let go, let loose. Because in society, you have to put on that armor, you know. You have to be strong because that's what the world see men as, you know.
But I mean, even if they don't, I feel like that's totally fine too.
Right.
You know, like, as she said, we're human. You know, express your emotions. I feel like the people who are most comfortable with themselves are most comfortable with spreading their, like, expressing their emotions.
But you know, some men, they have this pride thing. They don't like to express their emotions. They feel like they just have to be so hard. So, you know, and for me, when we going back to relationship-wise, I don't like that. Like, I don't want my significant other to feel like he can't express himself. Like, how do I supposed to really get to know you? How do I supposed to read you? Or, you know, how do we supposed to have a conversation if you're not being true within yourself? I need you to be true with yourself before you to be, you know, true with me, because, like, we supposed to be a union. We supposed to be one. So, you know.
Very good points. Okay, so have you ever heard all healthy relationships look the same? How do you feel?
I don't even know if I've heard of that actually, but I would disagree with that. I don't think that all healthy relationships look the same. We're all very different people, different individuals, different relationships. We all have different values, right? And so I think that no one relationship can be the same, right? Like, there's no one formula for a healthy relationship. Everyone is so different. So what might be healthy for me and what works for me is not going to work for Jubilee, is not going to work for Shay. Like, everything is so niche to that one relationship, those two people.
And I agree. But I have heard that before, but I definitely disagree with it. I stand on everything Miss Karen right here just said. Yes.
Right, yeah, we're different people. We're going to look different. You know, if you love physical touch or you love PDA and you're in public and that's how you are, I can't be like, oh, look, they look healthy or they look happy. Or, you know, like, it looks different to us. Or, like, I could be looking at you and be like, oh my gosh, they're making me so uncomfortable, you know, and it's like, it's per situation.
Because a lot of people do put on a front, especially through social media.
Yeah,
a lot of people post pictures, post videos, post my MCM, my, you know, WCW, you know, and be like, behind closed doors,
They hate each other.
everything going on, you
Right,
know,
right.
like
And it's
physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, you know. So I feel like, no, it's not. That's where it comes in where, you know, I guess me and Karen do disagree because everybody is not the same in their relationships.
Okay, last one. Good relationships come naturally.
No. Absolutely not. No. I feel like it takes a lot of work. Like we were talking about at the beginning. It's like it's a choice every single day that you have to make. It's a sacrifice.
I have to choose.
Exactly.
To be able to choose you every day. Because one day I might wake up and you might even get on my nerves, you know, and then the other day be like, oh, hey, baby, how you doing? You know, it just depends. Or in the same day, you know, one day I might just wake up and then the next hour I'm cool, you know.
I think if it was like so natural, the divorce rate wouldn't be so high. How we were talking about Jubilee, right? Like that's why it is so high, because a lot of people I think aren't willing to put in that work.
And some people that are, you know, that does put in the work. Let's speak on those, you know, those people, those individuals. People that does put in work, I feel like it goes unseen. I feel like, you know, the people that, you know, put in the work, the partner that they're with don't know how to accept it, you know?
Yeah, like if both of them aren't putting in the work, you know, that's where.
But also, one thing that we were talking about the other day is that sometimes unhealthy relationships are easier because you don't have to be vulnerable. You don't have to be your true self. You don't even have to like the person. You just like, you're conveniently there, and we've been together for 2 years, you know, and it's what I'm used to. And it's like, but really, have you had a real conversation? do you like each other for who you really are, or are you just there because it is convenient? You know, and I feel like a lot of relationships, they're like, oh, you know, they're used to it. Mm-hmm. But people don't always talk about how much work does go into a healthy relationship.
Or just a relationship in general.
Exactly.
If it's healthy, toxic, you know, I mean, because a lot of people put in a lot of work in a toxic relationship too now. So, I mean, I've never been in a toxic relationship, but just I have been in a relationship where I feel like I have been verbally abused or emotional abuse, you know, so I understand. Never physical, but, you know, so it's a work. Like if I'm giving you 100% every single day, if I'm getting off of work, cooking, cleaning, you know, communicating, just I feel like, what am I getting in return? You want me to give you this, but what are you giving me? You know, so yeah. And then a lot of people don't understand how to allow someone to be themselves. You want me to be who you want me to be, and that's not who God created me to be. You know, so.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I have seen where people have like this expectation or like preconceived notion of who their partner needs to be, and they date a person and try to put them into that box.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then you're not actually liking me for me.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, and not only that is, it's like a lot of, I'm going to say men and women don't know how to take criticism. And when it comes to just family relationships, work relationships, just spouses relationships. So it's like, if I'm telling you, this is what I want, nothing less, nothing more. I don't need you to take my words and change it and be like, oh, well, this is what I heard. No, this is what it is. This is what I told you. This is what I see. This is what I want. This is how I want it to be. If you can't agree to it, let me know. Don't be in a relationship with me and then go cheat.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
like that didn't make sense. You know, why just not leave me alone and let me be? Because I told you from the beginning in the relationship, these are my standards. Yes. These are my boundaries, and you crossed those boundaries. So why not just, you know, leave me where I'm at?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think a lot of people test boundaries and test standards and test like what they have, and they go into the relationship not knowing.
Correct.
Thank you guys so much for everything and your opinions and your input.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yes, I really enjoyed having this great conversation, and hopefully that the information that we talked about today reaches someone in our beehive.
All right. Before we let you go, we have some homework for you. Define what healthy relationships look like to you. Set the standard. Be educated and always check in with the Hive. Don't forget to like and share and leave positive comments wherever you're listening. Find us at bebusy.org or BeBusyHive on Instagram or Be Busy on YouTube. Thank you.